Yo.
Cow now, brown cow. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Oh, what's up, guys? We're here live at the Lake of the Ozarks this week. Still haven't made it back from the crappy city of Atlanta, so we thought we'd enjoy ourselves while we could on our way back home. But week 6, fantasy football, we were in St. Louis, another bad football city. Bad football city. How much football did you see, and what did you like, and what did you not like?
I did get a chance to watch some of the football. It all looked pretty bad, or pretty good, especially on the fantasy front. No team was really, there was no real close games this week other than one that came down to 1 point. All the other ones just seemed to be blowouts one way or the other. So it was really just some bad football all around, or some really good execution from just one team.
Yeah, just 5 good teams that did well, besides that one very close game. But yeah, let's start off with that one good team in Chuck Testa, who should really stick with that team name because they did work up and down with Marshawn Lynch, Brandon Marshall, Daenerys Moore. I mean, you could just go all the way through their lineup and be pleased with what he had. What'd you think out of Cam Newton?
Did not see that coming from Cam Newton, coming out of nowhere. Looks like his time might be, ESPN's talking about his time being over in Carolina, and now he goes off for 33 points this weekend in fantasy football and just goes off. Big surprise though, T.Y. Hilton, I was expecting him to do a little bit more. He only got 4 points, but luckily Chuck Testa managed to get the ball to the other people on his team and really pulled off the win there.
Yeah, and the Chiefs Hungry looked good. They got 127 points, but they just got work playing the best team of the week this week, and that's unfortunate for them. But the strength of schedule is looking better for them as they approach the tournament time as a bubble team.
Absolutely.
But we'll go to the next game, and that leads us to the Brokeback Romos. Am I saying that right? Is
Yes.
that what you were reading? The Brokeback Romos took on America's team, and America's team did well. The Dallas Cowboys did well.
Yeah.
The Cowboys they looked good against the Redskins. They shut them down, came out firing, but that didn't translate to fantasy points.
I'm really not sure how you win, because America's team is the Dallas Cowboys. I don't understand how you have almost every offensive weapon for them, and they go off for 31 points, and you somehow still lose the game and only score, 57 points? It was really remarkable to me. I assumed that he would have made this a much closer game, but somehow the Cowboys just looking terrible. Tony Romo doesn't even get into double digits. Big problems for America's team this week.
Yeah, and the Brokeback Mountain Romos had some good players all around, but the St. Louis D came up big. They came up big, but they played the Houston Texans, and Matt Schaub just continues to crumble. But we'll get to that later. So St. Louis D helped out a lot. Things are looking good for the Brokeback Mountain Romos. America's team should maybe think about a team name change because it seems to be working for Chuck Testa and the Brokeback Mountain Romos.
Yep. And really, America's team goes out there and does not avenge the just insulting name to his star quarterback, and Romo goes out there and doesn't prove anyone wrong.
All right, and this takes us to another game. Had the Boston Brawlers, whose consistent team against the Don't Mess Up Aaron, who ever since changing his name has gone either 1-2 or 0-3. It's hard for me to backtrack that one, but all he's done is mess up.
We've been trying to get him into the principal's office. Oshag Hennessy's been trying so hard to just try to really get him on the same page as the GM, Oshag Hennessy, and really just nothing's happening. This team's looking pretty bad so far, and this far into the season, he's looking to be in some trouble. Definitely, if he doesn't get some better play out of just really his skill players.
Yeah.
Danny Amendola, 0 points, a goose egg on your roster. And Vernon Davis just really carried your team. And then Aaron Rodgers tried to put up some points, but just definitely not enough to beat this really good
Carried him
Boston
far,
Brawlers.
but the 5 position players you talked about, he had 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. 5 guys got 20 points, and that's not going to help out anywhere, ever. But the Boston Brawlers, again, consistency. Tom Brady finally showed up. Tom Brady was in St. Louis with us. I almost got his autograph, but Jamal Charles was there. Reggie Bush was there. His draft picks at the top of the order showed up this week, and they finally looked like a cohesive unit.
Finally, yep. This Boston Brawlers team is consistent across the board, like you've been saying, and there's someone to with their GM and star quarterback Tom Brady. It just looks great.
It does look good. Moving on to the game of the week we talked about last week, DeGlester Hardunkelchud taking on DP12 with two 4-1 teams going at each other. What did you come away with after watching that game this weekend?
Derek, man, what have we been telling you? Just go to sleep. Don't touch your team. They'd play better without you there. Just let it go. We know we're poking fun at your coaching style, but it seems to work. You get a win every time you just don't touch your lineup and just, play 8 players, whatever. But man, this week just did not look good for you. Ruben Randall did okay, Drew Brees did okay, and then no one else showed up on your team, and just it was pretty bad. And unfortunately, you're going against DeGlester Hardunkelchud, who was a very strong showing this week from Nolan himself.
I mean, even I played 9 guys, but my star player Jimmy Graham got 0 points. I don't know. Shout out to KU alum Aqib Talib for shutting him down, but that had me scared at the beginning. Bounced back pretty well with the rest of my guys. Your guy Noshawn Moreno did work for me this week, and then everyone else across the board helped out a ton. So big shout out to Aqib Talib, Noshawn Moreno, Matthew Stafford. Lots of points for me from those top 2 guys, and I'm not gonna slow down. Just moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah. All right, so we talked about Chuck Testa, high scorer of the week. The next game we talked about from last week was the 2 teams 4-1. DeGlester Hardunkelchud versus DP12, and the other game we talked about, we had our special guest Aaron Ellis in the office with us, taking on your team, the Mile High Madmen. Aaron Ellis projected he would win. I picked he would win. You thought you would win, or Aaron would win. I thought Aaron would win. You thought Corey would win. 2 of us were right. Your team did not do well, but we'll come back to that because Aaron's now 2-4, and Coach Ellis, GM Ellis he just messaged me early this morning. He's taking his talents to Buffalo, the Buffalo Runners. What do you think about Buffalo?
Buffalo, man, just another rich history up there. As long as you're not talking about Buffalo.
Or the Super Bowls.
Or Super Bowls, yep. Really just, it's a fitting city for his talented team. But, I can't really say much this week because, you know what, I'm just going to, there we go. Root for my team here and represent for them.
Bagheads.
Yep. We're now distributing this to all of the Mile High Madmen fans. They are just flying off the shelves. If you guys want, please call the number below, and you can definitely get one for yourself.
Would you ever consider changing cities?
No, I would not.
Because it works.
Denver is the only place. I know we're competing with the Broncos, who are now 6-0. But I think we have a chance to really represent Denver well and really compete in terms of our athletic talent with the Broncos. But Calvin Johnson this week, once again,
just took the words out of my mouth.
Does a whole lot of nothing, just sitting there. Justin Blackman once again on my bench, which I just enjoyed watching him do all that. But even then, it really didn't matter. 51 points. 51 points. Thank you, Alex Smith. You looked like you had a great matchup against Oakland. I'm glad you could only go off for 14 points. Really just, I don't know who to start anymore. I'm lost.
Coach Ellis doesn't know either. He played 8 guys because Cecil Shorts got 0 points, and he almost broke 100 for the first time, maybe in his career.
Yeah.
But your Mile High Madmen got 51 points, and we were bagging last week on a couple teams. They finished 60 and 54. I think you now have the lowest single game score of the season. But we'll go back to those teams, and we're talking about, well, coach and GM Malvin Warwick was one of those teams. He had 54. You now drop lower than that. Congratulations. But
Representing.
Coach Malvin is not really helping. And he changed his team name to the Super Shabs. And we already touched on that a little bit, but Shab is not doing so high. He actually threw 2 touchdowns this week for the other team. 2 pick sixes for the St. Louis Rams. So I'm really confused by this team name, and when we get home, I'll call him to the office and try and get some verification on this. But he took on the Rookies R Us and beat them by 1, 64-63. This game was ugly, but could you watch it?
I'm totally clueless on how Shab is his starting quarterback for Malvin Warwick, and he somehow still pulls off a win here. I mean, Rookies R Us really just doesn't get any help. Ted Ginn, definitely a good start there, right? 2 points. And then you got your 0 from your tight end, Sean McGrath. Really just not looking good. And then Peyton Manning doesn't do what he normally does and go off for 60+ points or whatever. Really just, we're beginning to see a trend here that Warwick's team just matches up and just neutralizes the other team, and it just becomes the toilet bowl of the week every week. And all we can really say is, job.
But hey, he wins these ugly games. Well, he's 1-1 now. But if he's getting so good at them, I'd keep doing them.
Yeah, he's really beginning to look like the Tim Tebow of the league. Ugly, ugly games, but all he does is win.
Now, going through projections for next week, we have the newly named Super Shops taking on your own mile-high bagheads. We talked about ugly games. Do you see your team falling into the scheme of owner GM Malvin Warwick, and are you going to play an ugly game against him?
I do believe we will probably not score over 100 points, but I don't think he will either, so I don't think it's a big deal that my team can't put up any points. Because he can't either, so I still have a very good chance of winning. But we'll just see if we can get if we get dragged down into just this sloppy game that he normally gets everyone into. We really hope that Calvin Johnson can show up or do something this week instead of sitting there watching himself get covered and do nothing about it. What do you think?
I think you end up getting your first win in quite a few weeks this week. The Super Shops, considering their name is now Schaubs, I think Schaub is going to stay in the starting lineup, which is just a disaster for that entire organization. So that's kind of poor. But you have Calvin Johnson playing Cincinnati. Could be tough. It could be easy. That team is kind of hit or miss on the cornerbacks there. But we'll move on to the newly located Buffalo Ronnies taking on the Chiefs Hungry. And these are kind of some cellar dwellers at the same time, like your game. So it could be a weekend where teams move up or move down in some standings, facing off against lower teams here. But the Buffalo Ronnies, 2 games, 2 wins in a row. What do you think happens this week?
I think the Buffalo Ronnies are on fire. They're going to move to this, just this great town where they got tons of roaring fans and all that going out for New England. And I think they'll definitely pull off a win here. Maybe move to cities one more time and just keep moving up to cities that have a couple more wins. And I think he's going to be able to take on, the Chief is hungry. He just doesn't look as hungry anymore. He did look good this week, but I don't think he's going to be able to pull off a win next week.
Yeah, Chief is hungry has some high projections, and he's actually supposed to win by 30 points. They're 28, I guess, according to ESPN right now. But they've just been struggling the last 2-3 weeks, and Omaha Ronnies, Buffalo Ronnies, Atlanta Ronnies, Jacksonville Ronnies, whatever you want to call them, wherever they're at, they're on the hot streak right now, and they're just soaring. And there's no way you can't pick them right now.
Exactly.
It's just too hot right now. Another game Rookies Are Us taking on Chuck Testa, some of the young bloods in the league. Rookies Are Us kind of has it on paper, but what do you think?
I think Rookies R Us will take this one to the house. Peyton Manning is going to show up big next week. Just Rulal, and then Adrian Peterson. Just all these people are just going to start, continue being the 1-2 punch that the Rookies R Us team needs. And they're a very hard team to beat, especially whenever they're at home, which they will be next week. And I'm looking forward to this game. I definitely think they'll have a run for their money, but I think it'll be a good game that the Rookies R Us wins.
I agree. Rookies R Us just kind of has a blowout game like we saw in weeks 1 and 2. It hasn't been there recently, but all the star power is there this week. All the guys are there. Need some backup role players at wide receiver position, but they'll be good to go. And then another game, America's team needs a team name change, along with Don't Mess Up Aaron needs a team name change. Facing off against each other, both 3-3. I don't know who Dallas plays this week, but what do you think?
I don't think it really matters. Romo he's not going to show up this week, I don't think.
At Philadelphia.
Just really this team, I don't think they're going to do much of anything America's team. They need to change their name to just really anything else. Maybe try the Brokeback Mountain Romos. That seemed to really work for Coach Weaver. But I mean, I definitely think anyone but America's team wins.
Anyone. So Don't Mess Up Aaron finally rebounds. I'm going to have to disagree with that. I'm going with America's team. DeMarco Murray is hurt, so he's going to need a running back. I might deal him a no Sean Moreno or something. But that guy's on the trading block. Which leads us to our next game, the Boston Brawlers taking on DP12. Both teams 4-2. What do you think happens? Because anything can happen.
I would say this is the game of the week next week. I mean, just going to be a great game where the Boston Brawlers get to slug it out against, hopefully, if Derek can just keep his hands off the team and let them run the show, then it should look really good for both teams. But I do believe that the Boston Brawlers are going to finally get some better quarterback play out of Tom Brady. You know, he's been putting up consistent numbers, but just not consistently real great numbers. Nothing over really 20 ever. Just kind of in the middle range for a quarterback, which is just not Tom Brady's style.
Yeah.
So I think he's finally just going to break out this week, and the rest of the team is always consistent. So I think Boston Brawlers definitely get a win here.
Yeah, Tom Brady's on a roll now. Gronk should be starting, should be playing next week. ESPN has Boston Brawlers beating DP12 by 50.
Ouch.
That is the largest line I've seen in fantasy football in a long time for someone who's starting 9 guys. And I mean, there's no way I can choose DP12 when he's so this inconsistent. So I have to go with Boston Brawlers, and I just have this feeling in my heart that he's going to live up to the hype. But the hype right now goes to DeGlester Harduncan-Shud. Team name is still there. Don't know if it's going to change. Second highest score in the league last week. Why should it change? Taking on Brokeback Mountain Romos. They're probably going to change their team name. They're probably going to get new uniforms. They're probably going to have a new controversy. But humble me out. What do you think happens right now?
Well, speaking of controversy surrounding the Brokeback Mountain Romos, now they have a lawsuit swirling amongst the bankruptcy claims that they now have out against them. They also have a lawsuit filed by the LGBMT, whatever that is, organization against them for that team name. So really, hopefully he changes it because, you know, a lot of people are very upset about it. There's going to be a court case pretty soon, and really, you know, they stand to lose a lot of money that they don't even have. But, you know, I suppose they could always just move back to Atlanta. They'll accept anything at this point. They accepted the Ronnies, which is...
that was too good for them.
Yeah.
Too kind.
They're so sad to see the Ronnies go.
Taking back the Brokeback Mountain Romos, whatever, that team name needs to change. And a humiliating loss this week to the DeGlester Harduncan-Shud should kind of prompt that, I guess, because I don't see this game being very close.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all we've got this week. Like I said, things could change. Finally, some moves being made through the standings. Maybe some trades start happening. But we're at the lake. We're almost back to Lawrence. It's about to happen. But good luck to all this week. We'll see you all soon. We miss you dearly. But not enough that we want to sit in the same room and watch games with you, because it's just more fun when we beat you from afar.
Especially not you, Warwick.
Later.